1972, the Olympic Games. Olga Korbut, an unknown 17-year-old Soviet gymnast, captures the hearts of millions around the world with her smile.
Я всегда знала, что я, в общем-то, гимнастка.
I always knew that I was #1 gymnast, because winning isn't essential. It simply isn't in my rule book. I saw the eyes of the audience. Mankind was created, you know, not to come first in everything, but to leave something of himself behind him. And in my case, I think that I have made some small contribution, as it were, to world sport.
Olga's contribution to her sport is immeasurable. Her 72 performance inspired young girls worldwide to take up gymnastics. Today, Olga is 33. She is on the periphery of her sport as an administrator with a regional Soviet sports committee. Olga works in Minsk, where she lives with her husband and son. Olga retired from international competition in 1976. Adjustment to life after competitive sport has not been easy.
After I left the arena, everything happened quickly. I got married and our son Richard was born. But it was such a passive life that I didn't know what to do with myself. I had strong maternal instincts, as they say, and it was thanks to that somehow or other I got used to the situation. But it's something I simply can't convey in words. It's still a traumatic thing to happen in the life of any sportsman. I find it very difficult to convey what a sportsman feels like when he leaves big-time sport, because I really went through a tough time. I'm actually now preparing to write about some of those things, a book maybe, so that people can think about and perhaps solve something that's a big problem and hits you hard, a problem of life itself. But I have to thank my husband for the fact that sometime after I left big-time sport, he helped me make a smooth transition, so to speak, back to real life and start afresh.
Olga and her family live in an apartment in downtown Minsk. Her husband, Leonid Barkyevich, is a popular folk singer from the Belarusian region. Her son, Richard, is 9. Like many Soviet athletes, Olga started training at a young age, attending a special sports school in her hometown of Grodno. Her small size was quickly recognized as an asset.
I decided to become a gymnast, and a good one, the first time I went into a gymnasium.
Reinhold Knish became her coach and mentor, but their training sessions were often a battle of words and wills.
When I was training, there were times when working with me was easy, and times when it was not so easy. I don't think it's a bad thing in someone if they want to argue. After all, it's only by arguing that you arrive at the truth. Talented people always argue.
To perfect a routine, Olga and Knish often spent over 3 hours on one movement.
To perform an element perfectly, in other words, so perfectly that the audience is enraptured by the beautiful flight, takes a lot of hard work. You can work on every element in different ways. There are elements which are purely technical, and there are others which require suppleness, on which you have to work every day for the whole of your sporting life.
Olga's enthusiastic smile did not come naturally. That was a calculated part of her routine.
I could tell you a bit about how I did that. In fact, I didn't like doing it either, but my coach used to shut me up by myself for a couple of hours in front of a mirror and make me smile until I actually liked myself. Then he used to come and take a look at me, and if he liked what he saw, he would let me go. Of course, I was happy that I had put the finishing touches to my training.
Pool. Steve Miserak, the master. Pretty Boy Floyd, the hustler. Eva Mataya, the leading lady. Now come together to bring you the ultimate in pool instruction videos. Pool, the master's way. Steve Miserak, the master, and three-time world champion, reveals his secrets of 8-ball, 9-ball, and straight pool, and teaches you breaks, banks, angles, English, strategy, and more. Pretty Boy Floyd, the world's greatest hustler, shares with you his magic cue ball control with the masse, the jump, the power draw.
Becoming world champion was no accident. I've learned from past masters. Now I'm going to teach you what they taught me, plus some secrets nobody knows but me. Take it from me, the Miz, the master. If you play pool, you must have this video.
Call 1-800-352-POOL. That's 1-800-352-7665. Or send $24.95 plus $3.50 shipping and handling to Pool the Master's Way. P.O. Box 5075, New York, New York, 10185. Call now, 1-800-352-POOL.
A week's worth of sports news in a concise half-hour show. This Week in Sports brings you all the headlines and highlights every Sunday morning at 10:30 Eastern, only on ESPN.
I was never thought of in my own country as a floor exercise gymnast. I was never even among the top 3 in that type of competition. So everyone was flabbergasted when I got the gold medal in Munich. There's even a film showing Turisheva crying because she was standing in second place on the victory stand. It happened because I really felt free to do as I wished. And before I went out into the arena, my coach never used to tell me what to do. All he used to say in English was smile. What I would say simply is that I love the audience. I wanted to give myself to them completely. And probably that's why they responded in kind.
At the 1972 Olympic Games in Munich, Olga won 2 individual golds. In the competition for the all-around title, Olga was in 3rd place, going on to the asymmetrical bars, just off the lead. But her performance on the bars was a disaster. After
I fell on the bars at the 1972 Olympics, I didn't think about anything at all. I knew that I still had to perform on one more piece of apparatus, the beam. I concentrated my mind and I got 9.9 points, and it was only after that that I began to cry. As far as I can remember now, I felt that the audience were disappointed, and that's why I cried. Not because I didn't get the big gold medal. But as it turned out, in the presentation, I got the top audience medal. That for me was the most important thing.
You're learning to speak English. What can you say to me in English? Can you say something?
Thank you very much.
After the Olympics, Olga joined the Soviet team on exhibition tours abroad. She was ranked 2nd behind teammate Lyudmila Turisheva, yet it was Olga who was more popular with the crowds.
Я действительно наиболее популярна.
Yes, I'm more popular in the United States than here at home in the Soviet Union. And not only in the United States, but abroad in general. But I console myself with the fact that American audiences are more heartfelt in their expression than ours. So I don't let that bother me. Anyway, as my husband says, God's no dummy. He sees everything.
Муж говорит, Бог не фраер, он всегда видит.
The most interesting place here is...
When not on tour or training, Olga studied English and Russian history at school.
London is the capital of Great Britain.
For the convenience of her training schedule, she moved next door to Knish and his family. Despite the intensity of her training, Olga was unable to beat Teresheva, taking silver in the following European and World Championships. The strains of the tours had taken their toll. I was literally overbooked by Western managers. It wasn't that I wasn't ready for the tours. I was just emotionally wasted, and I couldn't go into the arena without my smile. And at the 1976 Olympics, Teresheva was not the only one to overshadow Olga. In Montreal, the Romanian Nadia Comaneci emerged as a new star. Olga claimed she was tired and forced to compete. In some ways, I didn't want to perform at the 1976 Olympics, because by then I was tired of gymnastics. I was so tired that I didn't even want to go into the arena, although by then they were making me a leader. There's a paradox for you. In 1972, when I should have been the leader, they didn't make me one. But in 1976, when I shouldn't have been a leader, they did. After the second Olympic Games, yes, I was emotionally worn out. I couldn't smile from my heart, and I couldn't force a smile either. Olga retired from gymnastics in 1976. After she married, she moved to Minsk. For 6 years, Olga did not work, and she's still searching for a fulfilling job. Her work as a gymnastics administrator for the National Sports Committee does not satisfy her. I'd like to say that administrative work doesn't suit me, and it's possible that in the near future I'll find a more interesting job, because work does in fact shape your emotional outlook on life. Living with the burden of her past is still a struggle, especially as Olga continues to search for a more fulfilling future. It's not for me to say how I would like to be remembered. I would rather hear how I have been remembered and how people will remember me in the future.